Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. This is your social studies teacher. Today we have Unit 3, Chapter 6, Section 4. Our topic is the Han Dynasty. Here we have some main ideas of the lesson. Number 1. Han Dynasty government was based on the ideas of Confucius. As you know that Chinese people, they were believing on three different ideas, three different beliefs. Number 1, Confucius. Number 2, legalism. And number 3, Taoism. So Han Dynasty, they were believing on Confucius ideas, Confucius beliefs. Okay, number 2. Family life was supported and strengthened in Han China. Number 3. The Han made many achievements in art, literature, and learning. Okay, then we have Han Dynasty government. So we have to know something about the Han Dynasty. So when the Qin dynasty fell in 207 BC, several different groups battled for power. It means that when the Qin dynasty fell, in 207, so different groups, they were fighting to get the power. They were fighting between each other to get the throne, to get the command. So after several years of fighting, an army led by Liu Bang, he won control. He got the power, he got the control. Liu Bang became the first emperor of the Han Dynasty. From the Han Dynasty, Liu Bang, he became the first emperor. This Chinese dynasty, the Han Dynasty, lasted for more than 400 years. It means that the Han Dynasty, they ruled China more than 400 years. Here you can see in the map, this is the China boundary, and this is the Han Empire area. This color is showing Han Empire area. And this is the Great Wall, China Great Wall. And this is the border of China nowadays, Only this area was the Han Emperor or Han Dynasty. They rule this part of China. Then we have the rise of a new dynasty. Liu Bang. He was a peasant. He was a farmer. He was a common man. But he was able to become emperor in large part. Why? Because of the Chinese belief in the mandate of heaven. Heaven will give the power to control the China. He was the first common person to become emperor. He earned people's loyalty and trust. He was well liked by both soldiers and peasants. So he was a good and well-trained soldier, and he was a good peasant, good farmer. So these two habits which helped him to maintain control of China. So Liu Bang's rule was different from the strict legalism of the Qin. Qin dynasty, they were following legalism. And legalism, there were some strict rules. But Han dynasty, they were following Confucius. So Liu Bang wanted to free people from harsh government policies. Harsh means strict government policies. He lowered taxes for farmers and made punishment less. He also strayed on educated officials to help him rule. Han Dynasty of ancient China. This is the picture of Liu Bang. He was the founder of the Han Dynasty. He was the founder of the Han Dynasty. Liu Bang. Okay, then we have another emperor. His name was Wudi. Wudi creates a new government. In 140 BC, Emperor Wudi, he took the throne. When in 140 BC, a new emperor came, his name was Wudi, and he took the throne. He wanted to create a stronger central government, so he took the land from the lords. Under Wudi, Confucianism became China's official government philosophy. Government officials were expected to practice Confucianism. Wudi even began a university to teach Confucian ideas. He was trying to spread Confucian ideas. Okay, then we have social classes. The Han period was a time of great social change in China. Based on the Confucian system, people were divided into 4 classes. The upper class was made up of the emperor, his court, and scholars who held government positions. The second class, the largest, was made up of the peasants, farmers. Next were artisans, experts who produced items for daily life and some luxury goods. Merchants were in the lowest class because they did not produce anything. They only bought and sold what others made. And the military was not an official class in the Confucian system. Okay, then lives of rich and poor. The classes only divided people into social rank. People's lifestyles were different according to their wealth. The emperor and his court lived in a large palace. Less important officials, they lived in multi-level houses. The wealthy filled their homes with expensive decorations. Rich families, they hired musicians for entertainment. Even the tombs of dead family members were filled with beautiful, expensive objects. Peasants, farmers, they made up the second highest class. They were poor. In the winter, peasants were also forced to work on building projects for the government. Heavy taxes and bad weather forced many farmers to sell their lands and work for rich landowners. By the last years of the Han Dynasty, only a few farmers, they were independent. Chinese peasants, they lived simple lives. Most peasants, they lived in small villages. The revival of the family life. Since Confucianism was the official government philosophy during Wudi's emperor, Confucian teachings about the family were also honored. Children were taught from birth to respect their elders. Disobeying one's parents was a crime. Okay, disobeying one's parents was a crime that time. Even emperor had a duty to respect their parents. Confucius had taught that the father was the head of the family. Within the family, the father had absolute power. The Han taught that it was a woman's duty to obey her husband, and children had to obey their father. Children were encouraged to serve their parents. They were also expected to honor dead parents. Chinese parents valued boys more highly than girls. This was because sons they carried on the family line and took care of their parents when they were old. On the other hand, daughters became part of their husband's family. So, according to a Chinese proverb, a Chinese poem, raising daughters is like raising children for another family. Raising daughters is like raising children for another family. An older widow could even become the head of the family. Okay, then we have art and literature. So Chinese of the Han period, they produced many works of art. Han artists also they painted realistic scenes from everyday life. Their creations covered the walls of palaces and tombs. In literature, Han China is known for its poetry. Poetry was so famous that time. Poets they developed new styles of verse, including the Fu style. That time, the poets they were using two types of style. One of them was Fu style. Fu style means long works of literature, which was the most popular. Okay, another style called Shi. Shi means short lines of verse that could be sung. Fu style means long works. Shi style means short lines of verse that could be sung. Han writers also they produced important works of history. So one historian by the name of Sima Qian, he wrote a complete history of all dynasties through the early Han. His format and style became the model of later historical writings. So here you can see that this is the picture of Sima Qian. He was the China's grand historian. Okay, he wrote the Han Dynasty history. Okay, here we have inventions and advances. The Han Chinese they invented one item that we use every day, and that is paper. So paper invented by Chinese from Han Dynasty. They made it by grinding plant fibers. So Chinese scholars they produced books by pasting several pieces of paper together into a large sheets. Then they rolled the sheet into a scroll. The Han also made other innovations in science field as well. These included the sundial. What is a sundial? Sundial and seismograph. Okay, what is sundial? A sundial uses the position of shadows cast by the sun to tell the time of day. The sundial was an early type of clock. You can see in the picture. Okay, So that time, that was the type of clock, and the people, they were getting the time by sun shadow. Okay. Then Chinese, they invented a seismograph. What is a seismograph? A seismograph is a device that measures the strength of an earthquake. When there is an earthquake, so which level of earthquake we have. So the Chinese people, they invented a seismograph. Han emperors were very interested in knowing about the movements of the earth. They believed that earthquakes were signs of future evil events. Another Han innovation, acupuncture, improved medicine. Acupuncture is the practice of inserting fine needles through the skin at specific points to cure disease or relieve pain. So many Han inventions in science and medicine are still used today. Hope all the points you got. Thank you. Jazakallah and Assalamu alaikum.